Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mage, and we are here for our final game of the PlayFFA Cup. We feature a bunch of well-known players here, and actually, they're pretty well known for different reasons. So we're going to go ahead and start in the bottom here. We have Magadansky. He is obviously a very well-known undead free-for-all player. He's been in the FML free-for-all finals many, many times, and continues to be one of our best players. And then to the left of him, we have Sir Rectify. He is also known as Dark Flame Master, and he has won 2 titles as human and 2 titles as, or 1 title as Night Elf. In the top, we have Snick, a well-known solo undead player. He is the only pure solo player to make the finals here. He's played well so far, and we'll see if he can keep it up. And in the top right, we have Persuade. He is playing Orc. He's usually a random player, and he's put up a very impressive showing so far this tournament, and hopes to continue going. The map that we have today is, it's called, and I'm lagging. Wonderful. I'm going to try and fix that. I'll just go ahead and keep talking about nonsense, since clearly it doesn't really matter if I actually watch the stream or not. I just talk about whatever the hell I want to at the time. Let's see if I can get back in here and it gets better. Alright, well, hopefully this is better. So we do have Persuade starting off with the Blade Master, so pretty typical Orc play here. And then we have Magadansky, who presumably will be going for the Death Knight. Rectify is almost certainly going for a Dark Ranger first. And Snick, I believe, will go Death Knight as well. Yep, there we go. Okay, so the map is actually created by our very own Warpex, the founder of the Free-For-All Masters League, and it features some interesting stuff. As you can see, we've got markets at the red. We also have goblin camps at the red, although these are extremely easy to creep, and once you grab that shredder, it makes it even easier. And then there are 2 unique items here. At the mine at the bottom left, the rock golem, and the top right has a rock golem as well. And when you kill those rock golems, it gives you a reanimate rock golem. So you can get at least 1, maybe even 2 rock golems on your own army. It's incredibly helpful, and especially for somebody like Rectify, who might not get a natural stun hero, or the undead players who might only have sleep from their Dreadlord. It provides a stun that really can prove critical as to whether or not you are able to take down the other people's heroes. So looking around the map, this is pretty standard so far. We do have a Grunt and Blade Master creeping up on this mercenary camp. Magadansky is almost done with this hero and will have his second Crypt Fiend out momentarily. And Rectify is going with the Archer's Dark Ranger. And does look like we are going to have pretty standard creeping so far. The natural expansions are not terribly hard to creep, so I expect we'll see them momentarily. Rectify may go ahead and take his out now. And it'll be interesting to see once they've scouted who takes what, because we do have the natural matchups being Rectify and Magadansky, which is kind of ironic since they are 2 3-time FML champions, and then we have Snick and Persuade, who both come from solo backgrounds. Persuade obviously has been converted to free-for-all for a while now. However, he also was a very good solo player back in the day. I do have to agree with Ugralini. I think we have some of the best players in the free-for-all world playing right now. There are certainly some that I would like to see more of, or wish that they could have made it further. However, it's no doubt that these are some of our most consistent players over time, except for Snick, who I'm not sure has ever played free-for-all before, and it was great to see him out there. Okay, and it looks like the stream is actually running smoothly. Everybody can hear me, so that means that I don't have to worry about that anymore, since it's always kind of a crapshoot whether or not you can hear me. The first game this morning, I actually casted with Magadansky for about an hour and a half before figuring out that they couldn't hear me and could just hear Magadansky, which, as much as I love Maga, it's somewhat confusing probably when you only hear one side of the conversation going on. It does look like Magadansky was the first one to go ahead and grab an... Nope, Rectify actually was the first one to grab an expansion. Snick is well up there as well, and Persuade going to be the last in the Slowpoke to get his. Except he has one over here already. apparently I need to pay a little bit closer attention to the colors on this map. And let's see, Magadansky about halfway through his tech so far. Rectify going to be the first one to finish it up, I'm thinking. Snick actually well behind and doesn't even manage to hasn't managed to start his tech yet, and Persuade does have his stronghold up. Is going to get that Shadow Hunter momentarily, and Snick and Persuade are a little bit on an early fight so far, so this could be very interesting to see how our solo players mesh out against each other, and if Snick lets Persuade get away. Last game, Snick managed to inconvenience Ebo early on by by harassing his expansion for a lot of the time, and as such he really was not Ebo's favorite player ever, but it did pay off in the end and he managed to get himself out of it. Magadansky getting a nice drop with that Tome of Experience there and tanking these pretty well between the Fiends and the Shredder. Looks like Rectify has gone ahead and picked up his Pandarian Brewmaster for grabbing his as his second hero, and he is going to get his Shredder as well. Interestingly enough, we have not seen anybody go for the middle yet to get the Rock Golems. I'm not sure why. Those are some of my favorite units, but that may explain why they are so much better than me, as they actually understand this stuff. Doesn't look like... Oh, we have a Warsong Battle Drum for Rectify, actually. That's going to be incredibly helpful for him. And then what do we get picked up? So a Hood of Cunning for Magadansky, not nearly as helpful, but he does have his Lich on the way out as we have started. And Persuade can go ahead and harass Snick, so there are going to be no love lost between these two, and this may teach Snick not to go ahead and attack people early on. So just at a quick glance, it does look like Snick is putting up his second expansion now. Persuade going ahead and harassing the Death Knight, trying to get a little extra crit, maybe some good luck on it, and gets and puts off the first hex. He does have more, certainly, if he needs to use them. Blademaster has 2 Windwalks in him, and Snick is going to be forced to TP out of there. Magadansky has gone and creeped out another creep camp, or another expansion, so he should be putting that up momentarily, I would guess, and he has a nice proxy Necro in the middle here to prevent himself from getting rushed on that side, although Rectify may be the bigger threat to him. So Rectify has his second expansion, has just gone up. Be interesting to see if he puts a third here and then a fourth over here. He could get greedy, and we'll see how risky he wants to play this. So unfortunately, it looks like Persuade and Snick may manage to just completely piss each other off and suicide each other until only one is left alive, which would leave a lot of the map to Magadansky and Rectify to try and creep up and gain good hero levels and stuff like that. Persuade doing the smart thing, asking Snick if he wants to have some peace. Persuade could certainly make Snick's life miserable, and honestly, they both need to get some good creeping going on if they want to have any chance of winning this game. Persuade may be a little bit overmatched by these creeps right now. This is not going all that well for him. Fortunately, that Shredder is able to tank quite a bit of damage, and with that Wind Rider coming in, he should be alright, but the Hex is going to wear off on this Ogre Mauler before too long. He'll probably need to go ahead and put it down on the other one as well. Cutting it very close with that Shadow Hunter. He cannot be overly confident about that, and so Rectify, noticing that Snick is over there, and Snick hitting pretty much anything that moves in front of him. Magadansky going ahead and creeping some of these. The Bandit Lords are probably some of the harder creeps on this map with their Chaos Damage and Divine Shield, but the Skeletal Warriors are doing a nice job of tanking it all up. He has hit 4-1, so he's not in quite as good a shape as some of the other players at the moment, namely Rectify, who's at 4-3 already, and has picked up a Scroll of Animate Dead, which does jack shit for him. Snick is well behind on the expansions at the moment. You can see Rectify currently putting up his third. And I don't even... There's that Lich. Alright, so he does finally have his second hero out, and Rectify doing a nice job of getting a Sentry Ward in there and keeping track of Snick, who's the most likely... Oops, sorry, got distracted by the comments over there. Snick, who's the most likely wild card within the match, and the most likely person that's going to hit him without Rectify realizing it's going to happen first. Persuade's still relatively far behind in the hero levels, but he is going to hit level 4, level 2 soon, and does pick up a boots of speed. Always helpful to have those, so you need to buy one on the Shadow Hunter anyway. Works out well for him. And Rectify actually harassing Snick a little bit. This is very odd. Rectify usually is a much more passive style, and he's going to be forced to TP out of here momentarily. I am not sure what the hell he is thinking right now. He is doing a significant amount of damage to these, but is it really worth it to get the solo player to go ahead and attack you? I mean, Snick has already shown he's got a pretty one-track mind when he's hitting somebody. You really don't want to have that person aimed at you, I wouldn't think. Rectify maybe thinking he's going to go in early 80 to break on Snick. But be interesting to see what his plan is here. He did pick up a Keeper of the Grove third, so you gotta like that. And it does look like Snick actually not gonna try and punish him for that at all. So we're down to about 6 red camps left and the entire middle. We do have a few open creep camps so far. And Magadansky, the first one to tackle one of these red Drake creep camps. Probably the hardest. Actually, I mentioned earlier that the Divine Shield was the hardest enemy. I'd take it back. The Ancient Sasquatch is definitely the hardest creep in this map. Partially because it has the ability to be reincarnated, and partially because it summons all these treants, which until you get a Destroyer or a Wisp or a Dryad or something out, they can be kind of annoying. Cutting it pretty close on that Lich there. Magadansky might want to go ahead and heal that up now. Rectify, meanwhile, going to go ahead and creep his own Goblin Lab over there. Doesn't look like we have anything terribly interesting in the shop at the moment. There's a Claws plus 12. I mean, if you wanted to really buff up that Lich, that could be kind of interesting. But aside from that, it's pretty typical market stuff. No Inferno Stones and no Silent Staffs, it doesn't look like. Does pick up a Pipe of Insight, so that's certainly helpful. And it looks like Snick has decided he is going to go ahead and hit Rectify. Rectify probably thinking that he knew that one was coming after going ahead and harassing the solo player. Does pick up the tome there, and he's going to go ahead and get his normal Chimera army here and throw in a few extra Hippogriffs, although I don't think he really needs them against Snick. Not even making any attempt to heal this. Kind of surprised. Just going to go ahead and detonate them, it looks like. So apparently he's not going to try and make a game out of that one. Magadansky continues his solid creeping pattern. He's up to 4-3-2, I believe. Yep. And let's check over here with Persuade. Persuade is 4-3-2 as well, I'm guessing. Snick at 4-2. Has not picked up his third hero yet, so he's pretty far behind in that aspect. Unless it's hiding somewhere. And Rectify at 4-3-2. Nope, 4-3-1, I believe. And here comes the TP. Let's see what you can do in this. Snick going to go ahead and back off, and Snick is heavily outmanned right now. But there is no TP on Rectify right now, so he is lucky that Snick did not have a stronger army or something hiding. And Persuade trying his hand at going ahead and taking down one of these creep camps over here. Magadansky very close, can see him actually because of the Haunted Gold Mine, I believe, and this could be a lot of trouble for Persuade if he's not careful. Magadansky at 74 food with a Garg army. He's going to come in here and pretty much wipe out these Wind Riders, I would guess, and force Persuade to back off before he can steal the creep camp from him. So Magadansky gaining his second one, although Persuade in good shape to go ahead and take this creep once it's there. Magadansky does not have a shade among himself. Just looking up here, it does look like Rectify going ahead and continuing his attack. Still no... I don't know, that's weird. He does not have a Scroll of Teleportation. Let's see. Was the Orb of Darkness the item there, or the Spell Shield? Looks like he did manage to take out a Fiend or something like that. Persuade says he's got even, however, looking at the items, I'm much more confident in Magadansky's items, especially with this Spell Shield. And Rectify continuing to hit Snick. Snick actually food capped at 50 right now. He is summoning up... He is not summoning up a Ziggurats except for the one there, so if Rectify pushes right now, he has a very good chance of actually ending this. However, at the moment, I believe he is going to go ahead and just take this out. He's got the perfect army combination to go ahead and manage to easily remove this creep camp. Let's see if there's anything interesting at the shop right now. Doesn't look like it. He did grab a... Or he had the battle drum, he grabbed the Pipe of Insight, and he's going to get a fairly nice item from this, I'm guessing. Picked up a Pendant of Mana, so a very nice item for Rectify there. He is at 4, almost 4, and 2. He's in pretty good shape so far with 2 expansions. Still has his natural as well, which he can put up at any time. And I'm guessing that he'll go ahead and take this expansion as well when he gets the chance. Snick is up to 49, still food capped at 60 now. And be interesting to see if he manages to take one of these golems, because if he does, I'm interested to see what a really good solo player can do with a golem for a stun. Unfortunately, he goes for the left side gold mine first. And Snick is staying at 50, so he's not tempted to go above 50 yet. They're pretty low on wood. Magadansky can grab his third one of these market camps. He is in great position right now with 5-3-3, and we'll see what item he can pull off here. I'm surprised that he's got the reincarnate first. I'm surprised Maga's there with his Death Knight. He is taking a lot of the experience leashed away, but I'm guessing he'll move it out of the way once his Satchwatch comes back, although possibly not. Does need to save that Fiend. It's getting pretty low. I don't know, Maga. You're cutting that pretty close, buddy. So I'm not entirely sure what item he picked up. Maybe the Ring of Protection +4? Can't really tell. Or the Hood of Cunning, I'm not sure. But nothing overly interesting. He did not gain a second spell shield or anything like that. Rectify just missing Magadansky, and Persuade actually doing a nice job with his scouting so far. Can see both of them. Persuade is at 76. I'm interested to see who he plans to hit. He's got a bunch of bats out there. I'm guessing he thinks that Snick will hit him again. He's just going to go ahead and hit the hell out of him. Magadansky scouts where Snick is, and we are going to have a second rock golem for Snick momentarily. So an interesting combination there. We'll see what he can do with the Undead Nuking Force plus 2 rock golems. I mean, that certainly seems like it could be an advantageous fight for Snick against pretty much anybody at the moment. However, it's also entirely possible that Snick is not aware of the hotkeys, stuff like that, hasn't practiced, and will have to give them up. But Rectify going ahead and putting the moves on Snick. Ooh, gets that panda trapped right in the middle there. Fortunately, it gets backed up a little bit. We'll see how he manages to handle this. Panda is looking very low, does not have a potion of vulnerability, may have to TP out of there. He does indeed, but Rectify does not lose very much, and he does take out Snick's main haul as well. So Snick not going to be in good shape right now. He does have enough to go up to 80. But Snick finally talking and say yellow suicided into him. So Maga grabs a Tome of Experience as well. That's going to get his Death Knight. Not sure he's going to use it on his Death Knight. Yep, uses it on the Dreadlord instead. Getting closer and closer to 4, and going to leave those Gloves of Haste there, apparently. So Maga up to 79 food now. And Searcher saying Rectify's revenge is scary, and Rectify's revenge certainly can be scary. He is getting closer and closer to level 5 on, or level 6 on Dark Ranger, and that would certainly be an interesting change of pace. Snick pushing with 63 food. This is not going to work out with anything pretty much. And Persuade and Magadansky having their own little fight as we're speaking. Persuade using a bunch of bats here, and unfortunately, as always, we have 2 fights at the same time. Silence goes off, does get the Death Knight. Looks like we may see the end of this Dreadlord for a little while at least, and nice job sniping that down for Rectify. Snick finally uses these rock golems to take him out, and this is going to be a very close battle on the Lich as well. Ooh, does not get it off there. Lots of incoming gargoyles. However, Rectify is going to take care of them easily with that Pandarian Brewmaster and the Hippogriff combination. We've got Persuade running around trying to kite his Bat Riders out of the way of the heroes there. Magadansky is losing a bunch of his buildings to the Bat Riders as we're speaking, and Snick is in critical shape due to Rectify's push here. Rectify hits level 5 on that Brewmaster, and that will give him level 3 Breath of Fire. So just going around the board quickly, we've got Magadansky at 7k. He has done very well, as you can see from his expansions. 1 second, got a cough. And Persuade continuing to harass him hard. Persuade does have only 3 at the moment, so he may be trying to get an extra one. Persuade at 5k. And then we have Snick, who is clearly well behind here at 2k and 47 pop, while Rectify off to a solid start, although not nearly as overwhelmingly expansive as Magadansky is at the moment. So Rectify's choice right now is he going to go ahead and continue to push Snick? And if so, is he going to manage to kill him, and will anybody come to save him? Usually in free-for-all, the first person to be eliminated and the 4th player does not get saved. That's just kind of the general rule of free-for-all, mostly because people don't see any interest in saving it, whereas 3-ways, people often get saved because of the fact that they may need them to, they may need the other person to help them win. So Maga and Purse continue to have a lot of fun going back and forth. Hero level is not in Persuade's favor right now. He is massively underwhelmed there. And Rectify continuing to have solid play here. Almost 4 on that keeper. And let's see what's interesting at the market. Ooh, very nice items here. 3 incredibly important items, assuming that Snick is able to... he is not prevented from getting them by Snick, and hits level 4 on that keeper at the same time. So let's see if Rectify goes ahead and gets... No, he does not grab a staff. I kind of thought he would get the silent staff just to go for double silence and pretty much always have it on it, but apparently he is not. Snick also pushing expansion towards middle here. So Rectify continuing to be very strong at 80 food, seeing no need to break above it, but has a solid push right now. Magadansky upgrading a bunch of towers, making his base a little more formidable. He still doesn't have the extra necropolis that we would expect him to see, especially with bats, and so it would be very easy to take it down. And Rectify going ahead and killing off anything and everything that he can right now. Snick really in dire straits, says, you need to help me right now if you want me to live. But Rectify obviously not in the forgiving, generous mood, and Persuade really saying that this is why you should not hit people early on and at willy-nilly, because while Persuade could have decided to come save him, Persuade now saying you can go fuck yourself. And Maga actually going to be the one to save Snick. So I'm sure we are about to see Rectify start raging at Magadansky for being a jackass, but it'll make it a little more interesting if we keep this 4-way going. Alright, so Rectify does not completely kill Snick here. Instead, he TPs to his main, and he may be going for a... Yep, he is going to go over the water into the base, maybe? I don't know. Persuade looking for some easy experience here. The reason he's hitting Snick is it's the one person he knows his heroes are better than, and as such, he can just go ahead and tome him. Persuade's hero levels are incredibly low, and he really needs to gain some experience right now. Snick apparently is going to be very, very close to being dead, and Persuade is hoping that he can grab this last little bit of experience to manage and get him. Snick probably not realizing why this is going on and just thinking everybody is being incredibly lame against him. There are really 2 factors to start with. The first is his mentality of he's going to hit any and everybody. And the second is Persuade is really not in very good shape right now. He has a lot of bats, but that's only good if your opponent has a bunch of air. And his heroes are a measly 4-3-2 or 4-3-3 at the moment. And Orc heroes are incredibly talented and incredibly hard to beat, but only when they are levels above your opponents. Both Rectify and Maga have better heroes than he does currently, so even Snick has better heroes at the moment than Persuade does. So the first golem is going to go down there. We still have that Hex on the Lich, and there goes the Stomp. Hex should be up again soon. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to take down that Lich. Coil comes in from the Death Knight. Death Knight has plenty of mana, and the Frost Aura, or Frost Armor on the Lich should help out. Another Coil at the very perfect time. Probably take down that Rock Golem first so that they don't have that stun. So unfortunately, Snick has lost both. No, Snick has not lost both of his golems yet. There we go. That golem has gone down now, and those were incredibly helpful units that Snick really never took advantage of. Maga finding a few extra creeps over here to do what he wants with, and Snick is actually amassing gargoyles at the moment, which is pretty much the best thing that Persuade could hear, since he wants to be able to use these Troll Bat Riders, and that's only effective against air. Sleep on the Blade Master, good call there, but should be disenchanted momentarily. There we go. So Persuade hoping to gain a few hero levels. He should be able to gain at least a level per hero, I think, if he takes us down and put him on an even playing field with everybody else. And Snick now producing Crypt Fiends, which are probably the better choice here, but these Crypts are going down very, very quickly to the bats, obviously. Persuade does have about 20 bats in there, maybe. Hard to tell from this look. Could be 12 as well. But enough to do quite a bit of damage to him. Kind of interesting that Persuade is not trying to do any damage to the army. He really needs to kill the army if he wants to get any experience. Instead, he's just going for the base, possibly so he can grab some extra gold there. I mean, if he takes the natural expansion and the main, then he'll have quite a bit more gold. But as it stands, Persuade not gaining much experience from this. Did put a Staff of Silence on his Blade Master. Didn't catch that earlier. However, it works out well for him, and Rectify is going to gain a ton of experience from pounding on Snick here. Disagree with that decision by Persuade to let Snick get out of his base. It makes me think that Persuade is much more interested in carrying over that grudge from the early game. To be fair, Snick really did mess up his early game. However, it's a long game, and he had a chance to put himself right back in there with hero levels, and instead Rectify gets level 6 on his Dark Ranger, and that's going to be GG for Snick. I'm sure we'll see that the Keeper of the Grove is almost going to get level 5. What the hell? Where is that Death Knight going? I don't know how it did that on its own, but we are going to manage to get level 5 on the Keeper, so we got 655 for Rec. He is in great position, and the units are no longer controlling themselves, so that was incredibly odd. Well, we're down to our final 3 players, and probably not without cause. They're some of the most consistent free-for-all players that we've had so far. Economy-wise, they're all looking pretty similar, although a certain vampire over here is doing pretty damn well, but I expect that he will be teamed momentarily. And now it will be a question of how they want to play this out. They've got a few options here. I expect we'll see some early aggression from Rectify or Persuade. Persuade needs to get at least 1, probably 2 more expansions up. Magadansky, probably comfortable where he's sitting. However, he is surrounded now by Persuade and Rectify. It's going to be much harder for Rectify to get to Persuade than it would be for get to Magadansky. And he probably feels kind of threatened that Magadansky is right next to him. So I would not be surprised at all to see Rectify and Maga fighting a little bit. They've played each other hundreds of times by now, probably. And Persuade may be allowed to go ahead and hoard a little bit. He's clearly not the biggest threat at the moment. But if he can get his heroes to be leveled up with some massive bat explosions and stuff like that, then it could be very interesting. One of the things about this map is there's an incredibly great amount of gold on it. I mean, as you can see just by my going around the map, all of these mines have almost 10k left in them, and we've already been mining for a while. We could easily see somebody hit 40, 50,000 gold if they set their mind to it. However, all our players are above 50. They're at the 80 food mark or close to it. So they're clearly not trying to play a long hoarding game. Or if they are trying to play a long hoarding game, they're not playing it very well. So Persuade actually going to go ahead and take the offensive against Magadansky. Apparently he remembers that what Magadansky did to him earlier in the game, and as such is a little bit bitter about that. So Persuade apparently had said he would not go Blade Master earlier and turned that one into a blatant lie. He has hit level 5 on the Blade Master, level 4 on the Shadow Hunter, so pretty good position there. Magadansky down to 41 and Persuade in very, very good position for this fight, although Magadansky's Infernal did drop at pretty much the perfect time, and this is going to be the Lich going down momentarily, I think. Just a beautiful save there by Magadansky. However, the Lich is way out of the way here. Let's see if he can hex off on the Death Knight, and okay, so he cannot save the Dreadlord. Lich is going to be going down next. There's one coil, but he is going to have to manage to get it out of the way here. Let's see if we can get a stomp, and then ooh, nice save by Magadansky there. So Maga loses a lot of food there, and Persuade right back in this, but Maga at under 50, so he's going to be hoarding nicely. I am sure both of the players will probably realize that Maga is just going to hoard the hell out of the map now. Now that he's been dropped. Rectify, too smart to be manipulated that easily, I would guess, although he has been kind of just wandering around the map, being a lone journeyman at this point, so God knows what he's actually doing. But if he decides to hit Persuade, it'll be very interesting to see. The two of them together actually don't have as much gold as Magadansky at this point. Nice base setup here by Persuade, although Death and Decay could do quite a bit of damage to it. And it's pretty clumped together for that Panda. So Rectify actually is going to hit Persuade. I'm kind of baffled by this. I suppose that the game is early, but it's a very odd move, I think, since Persuade is clearly not the strongest person in the moment. In fact, it may be Rectify now. He doesn't have the gold, but looking at the items, he is in really good position. He has 2 battle drums. Not sure why, Rectify. You only need 1 battle drum. That's clear. Just 1. 2 don't stack. Persuade has gotten himself back up to 80, though, and everybody realizing that Renault actually is the one that hates Orc more than everybody else. There aren't a whole lot of great Orcs left in the league. Calypso is a very nice new Orc, however, back in the day it used to be that pretty much everybody got dominated early on by players like YZ and Dase, and as such they just team the Orc out early on. Renault has a special hatred in his heart for Orc, as does Magadansky to an extent, and apparently Rectify too, although I had not realized that. So Rectify going ahead and just hitting anybody he wants to at this moment, taking down expansions left and right, or proxy expos as the case may be. And Rectify and Persuade having some fun trying to figure out what the hell is going on. The answer is probably neither one of them knows. So Magadansky continues to be the only one who's going to have a expansion in the middle. He has drained at least 1 mine, 2. So he's managed to drain 2, and he's going to drain a 3rd soon. Rectify has not quite managed to drain anything, but he is getting relatively close. Or he drained his main, and then poor Persuade is just not very good at this mining thing. He has gotten a significant amount of lumber, though, so at least there's that. And Persuade whining about his expansions. To be fair, he is getting the 3rd one as we speak. And I'm actually not sure where Rectify's 4th expansion is. So now we get into the entertainment portion of this shoutcast, where Magadansky gets to try and out-manip the other 2 players. Persuade is pretty naturally terrible at manipulation, and Rectify generally just ignores it all and does whatever the hell he wants, no matter who is in charge. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly happens. Usually Magadansky somehow gets left alone, despite the fact that he's such a brilliant player. Rectify complains that he gets rushed out and teamed out all the time. However, we just kind of think he's being a big baby in general. And Persuade actually does get teamed down for no reason quite often. However, it might be the fact that people just don't like him. Just kidding, Persuade. We love you. sometimes. Not usually. But surprised that we haven't seen anybody go up to 100 yet and pull off a big attack. We're still at the stage in the game where you could gain a lot of experience pretty quickly here if you did manage to catch somebody unawares. You can see that Magadansky has added the extra Necropolis in here. That is to prevent Rectify from coming in with a ton of chimeras and just taking out his main, preventing it from being just completely demolished easily. And we actually do not have any extra great hauls for Persuade. A little surprised about that. And only one Voodoo Lounge as well, since Voodoo Lounges are the way he's able to create bats. I'm surprised he doesn't have another one placed back here or something like that. That could prove to be a mistake later on. We'll see. I do like the job he's done shaping the base with the towers, though. Very nice range, and they can do a lot of damage. And he has 6 bestiaries, so he'll be able to mass produce units very quickly. And Rectify talking about the fact that Ugri may murder him, or murder Persuade, and we'll see if that's true. Ugri, do you want to comment? Are you going to murder Persuade? Well, I'm not entirely sure at this point. It looks like these guys just want to make sure their heroes don't get fat, so they're running them around the map, traveling. Because they're certainly not trying to attack each other based off what they're doing. We do see some increased items right now. We do have the Staff of Silence on the Death Knight. Nice item there. Let's see what this Dreadlords can go and pick up. Ooh, I like that. So, well done in that part. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the game every player ended up with a amulet of Spell Shield, since it really is such a fantastic item, although I do not believe it blocks Silence, which is kind of the big game changer at this point. Persuade calling out Rectify, ironically enough, for looking for more spell shields after Magadansky just bought one. And let's see what he's going to go ahead and get. Does pick up a Gem of Health, so nice item there. Adding in the Legion Doomhorn. Pick up a little speed as well, though he's still not going to be able to keep up with the Orc or the Undead player, but at least he's got a little bit more speed now. And Persuade nice enough to give Rectify some friendly advice to Rectify about picking up boots on his panda. So now the panda does have boots, and everybody that was worried about that can be very, very conscientious of the fact that the panda is no longer the slowpoke it once was. It is now a brand new being. And we do have some more interesting items. We've got an Ankh and a Silence over here. Let's see what we are going to pick up on. I have no idea what he just bought. I don't think he bought the Ring of Protection +4, but that's the only thing that looked new to me. Persuade has managed to drain the natural of Snick. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next mine, and he is going to long distance run those over. Hopefully those peons are a little quicker than they look, because it looks like it may take forever for them to get back. Persuade, of course, can't resist having a smart mouth here, and says he'll go ahead and sell you Staff of Silence for 15 shims. And Magadansky, actually surprising that Magadansky went back up to 80. I know I mentioned earlier that he'd stay at 50, but apparently he decided to go to 80. I think Maga's got the second best heroes, Rectify obviously having the first, and I believe that, this could be very interesting. We've got a Silence and Fairy Fire on the Blade Master. Does not look like Rectify is particularly concerned by it, though, nor does it look like he really wants to kill it off. Persuade catching up in gold, though. Still third, but Rectify and Magadansky both very close now, and Persuade not too far behind. Curious if Magadansky remembers that he has these items in his shop base. Seems a dangerous place to store him if Persuade gets up to his evil ways and comes over to steal him. And here we go, Rectify going ahead and attacking Persuade. So, interesting to see what Persuade will do to counter this. Bat certainly will not be a whole lot of fun for Rectify to deal with. He only has one staff of preservation. That could be a mistake on his part. And Maga going to go ahead and hit Rectify. Let's see, does Persuade want to go ahead and hit Maga? We can make it a complete trifecta here. No TP, so Rectify just can go ahead and trade expansions, it looks like, although, unfortunately... Apparently Rectify's counter was to go ahead and tech that, and we do have Persuade hitting at the same time, so Rectify apparently not very good at making friends right now. That's pretty much the moral of my story. And Rectify going to go ahead and kill off most of these proxy necropolises. I'm interested to see why Magadansky's at 86 food. Seems like it'd be a good call to go to either 100 or 80, but apparently not. Oh, he's killing off some acolytes. Does he have enough to kill off to make it down to 80? I suppose he could kill off the Goblin Shredder. I don't know. Maga confuses me. Maga needs to go to bed. It's late for him. Rectify does appear to have somewhat of a grudge against Magadansky, though. He has popped himself up to 100 food, and Maga is going up to 100 as well. So Persuade is going to be our only player left at 80, and he's actually at 69. So let's see what he has managed to grab for his heroes, if he's got any new items on them. So we've got a very beefy Tauren Chieftain. He's keeping that crystal ball for some reason, not entirely sure why. Wow, that's a very impressive Blade Master. That could be a problem later on. And nicely done Shadow Hunter too. So the only problem I can see is the lack of teleportations on his other heroes, but those are some pretty damn ferocious heroes as we speak. And looks like Rectify continuing to just go ahead and plow through some of Magadansky's stuff. And saying that if he loses quickly, he can go to the gym. Rectify, we all know you're like 500 pounds. You don't go to the gym. And we are now going to play the game where everybody just hits everybody randomly, and Magadansky ends up winning because he's smarter than both Persuade and Rectify. Or at least that's my prediction on how this will go out. But we shall see momentarily, I suppose. And Rectify does go ahead and continue to kill those necropolises. You know, I think they're just trying to make us feel like they're doing stuff despite the fact that they're actually not. If you notice, nothing important has really happened in the past 20 minutes. Maga is trying to rack up some frequent flyer miles with all these gargoyles, I think, and Rectify has just decided that that Pandarian Brewmaster needs to lose that final 20 pounds that it gained in freshman year drinking all that beer. Persuade is still staying at 69. Apparently, he's decided that he... Oh, no, he has gone up to 79 now, so let's see what he's producing. He's just producing a bunch more bats because he's boring like that. Oh, look, there's a $500 Play Free-For-All Cup. I wish I'd known about that before. Rectify going ahead and pissing off Persuade now. Would not be surprised to see him get himself teamed out momentarily. Although I think both players are actually too smart to do that. How many peons did Persuade have on that mine? Looks like 7. And here we go. Persuade going to go ahead and push towards Rectify's base, I think. Or not. Rectify, stop killing other people's bases. He's out of the game. He can't harm you anymore. I know that he attacked you, but really, come on, let him go. Get over your grudge. And yes, he's probably doing that to avoid future pillage, or no, but it's much funnier if we consider the fact that he's just got a grudge against somebody that was out. And these games wouldn't be so long if you fucks would do stuff. Come on, Wreck. Attack somebody. There we go. Persuade, go ahead and bat the hell out of him, please. There we go. Nice job using the Hex on the Dark Ranger there. Very nicely moved. And you can see, wow, that was an incredibly effective job. Wow, those bats just died instantly. So Persuade loses pretty much his entire army there to Rectify using his Pandarian Brewmaster to go ahead and take care of business, and Persuade not in good shape now. He is down to 42. If Rectify decides to push him, this could be very bad news for Persuade. Rec with excellent micro to get that out of the way. Nice kiting, and even managed to just avoid losing a single trim there. I think he only lost a few hippogriffs. So well played to him. Persuade, step it up, buddy. I presume he's just going to keep massing bats now. Really the only thing he can do, because he needs to go ahead and use them well so that he can manage to level up his heroes and hope he's got a gold advantage. I do not believe that he is mining from anything at the moment, so he is pretty much stagnant. And Magadansky at 100, he is not mining anything either, and Rectify is at 96, but he does have one mine which he is not mining out of. So everybody should be going up to 100 momentarily, and assuming that is the case, then it will be very interesting to see who hits who first. Persuade and Rectify should have some sort of fight first, I'm guessing, although leaving Magadansky to his own devices is never the best idea. And Maga looks like he may go pick a fight with Rectify, actually, thinking that Rectify is the biggest threat at this point. If he can take him out, then he'll be able to pretty easily take out Persuade after that. Who knows if his prediction is optimistic, truthful, or what exactly, but it should be interesting to see, unless he is just going to the marketplace. Nope. So moving back from the market, and I'm hopeful that we're going to see a big fight here. We have enough people in the same area. But it's up to the players to see if they want to be interesting now. There we go. So that is the last expansion currently running, although Persuade is putting one up as we speak. So nobody will be mining for a little while, and we'll see what Rectify can do when he comes in here. So in come the bats. Better bat. Much better explosion of the bats there. Rectify down to 37 food. Fantastic job by Persuade. He just gained level 6, level 5, level 5. That was a very impressive batting there, and Persuade even have more bats, but Rectify has absolutely nothing for them to be used on. So Persuade just completely game changes there, and he is right back in this. Very well done on Persuade's part, and really nothing that Rectify could have done there except for keeping himself out of the bat range. But that was really, really, really an impressive batting on Persuade's part. Rectify going to have to rebuild his entire 100-food army now, pretty much. And Magadansky is now looking to prey on Persuade, I think, guessing that he just lost all of his army with the bats. And Persuade saying that he should have known better. Why did he let that happen? Come on, Rectify. You gotta at least put up some effort of keeping those wisps detonating. Here we go. So we should have a big fight between Magadansky and Persuade momentarily. Persuade has a ton of bats over in his base, however they are not accessible right now. He could probably take out a significant number of gargoyles, but not enough to do a game change. I'm guessing that Persuade is just going to back up and try to take the fight to Magadansky, since if he can fight the undead in his base, then Persuade just kept calling out that Mag is going to have a hidden army and end the game quickly, which is Season 16 Finals, I believe he did that. He had a 100-foot hidden Garg army, and pretty much sexy thought he had it won, and then out of nowhere, Maga came out with that. So Maga going to go ahead and try to bring the fight to Persuade, it looks like. He's still extremely strong in his economy. Just looking around the board, Persuade has the least gold by quite a bit at this point, although Rectify certainly took a big beating there when he had to go ahead and lose pretty much his entire army like a noob to Persuade. Persuade very close now to Magadansky, actually. If Maga turns in, this could be an interesting fight to see if anybody is caught off guard. Maga looks like he's just going to go ahead and pass by, though. So, no interesting fighting there, unfortunately. And Maga can go ahead and just kill off a few extra buildings. And, ooh, Persuade is going to get these bats. Is he going to go ahead and use them? Let's see. Yep, so Maga lost a few things there at least, but not too much, so Maga doing a nice job of keeping these stone formed and just kiting them out. Let's see, will he manage that Troll Bat Rider into it? Nope. Lich snipes it down, so nice job by Magadansky doing that. Still, I think Persuade traded about 7 bats for 3 gargoyles, maybe. Not the best trade ever. And Persuade, that's not what you want to do, buddy. I guess that's somewhat of an even trade when you throw the Death Destroyers out there, but it's not ideal. However, he is getting relatively close to level 6 on his Tauren Chieftain and Shadow Hunter. Does have 6 on the Blade Master. Rectify, I believe, leading the hero levels with 665, and Magadansky trailing slightly behind at 554. So, despite Maga's strong economy and macro games so far, he is a little bit behind hero-wise, probably because it's relatively hard to keep up with somebody who can just throw bats at you and you don't get any experience for it. Persuade going to try and take on Maga's army here. It's a bold move. So Magadansky coming in here with much stronger, but yep, there we go. Persuade can go ahead and TP out of there. Smart move on his part. Really had no chance of fighting any of that, so that's what you got to do. Rectify back up to 100. Not going to go ahead and take it easy, and looks like he's trying to go ahead and hit somebody. Ideally, I think he probably should hit Magadansky at this point, but it looks like he may be going for Persuade. Not entirely sure where he's going, or if he knows even where he's going. So Persuade and Magadansky arguing over semantics at this point, trying to figure out what exactly a rape and free-for-all is. Persuade unsuccessfully arguing that killing off 4 casters is killing his entire army. And Magadansky correctly pointing out that Persuade is being a whiny little baby right now. And for those of you listening that think I'm being too harsh on the players, please know that I do play with these guys all the time, and I have absolutely no qualms if they listen to this. They know that they are fantastic players, and I really do respect them. However, I'm certainly not going to stop making fun of them. Renault saying that he thinks Maga's going to win. Maga is in a very strong position now, but everything can change relatively easily. I still think that this has quite a bit more time left in it. We still have about 40,000 gold left in players' hands, and then we've got another 60, 70 on the map probably. Rectify starting to go ahead and mine again, or at least building up another mine to be mined later on. Question is, are players actually going to do anything, or are they just going to sit around at 100 food? And unfortunately, it looks like, wow, that was a well-timed, whatchamacallit, nicely played by Rectify there to go ahead and grab that. That was a very talented shade snag. for those of you that are wondering, that reference to Humi and Manip, Magadansky convinced Human Star, who is a human player for the Free For All Masters League, to go ahead and attack Rectify over and over and over again, and basically gave Magadansky a very easy finals win one time. Rectify continues to hold a bit of a grudge about that. In fact, if you ask him how that went after the game, then I think you'll get a very amusing answer out of him, especially if he's in a bad mood already. So Persuade has decided to go up to 94, so he is the lowest on gold by quite a bit. I suspect we'll see him built up to 100 momentarily. He really needs to win whatever fight he gets into. I mean, bats are great. They really are very advantageous to whoever's using them. However, they are very expensive, and he can't afford to do this too much more, but this could be a lot of trouble, actually, if he gets caught badly here. So, nice job. Good trade by Wreck there. Ooh, no, he had a Wyvern, actually. Bad trade. But what really needs to happen here is he needs to take out these Hippogriffs and Druids of Talon. So Rectify not doing too well there in that trade. But he needs these Wyverns to be able to take down the Chimeras easily. Nice silence on the casters there. The Orc is in a little bit of trouble here, and that Keep of the Grove is going to get saved just barely. So Rectify does get out just in time, but Persuade down to 50 food now. He also doesn't have any mines going at the moment, and it doesn't look like he is going to be able to have any mines going. So he is certainly not in great shape, and Magadansky is kind of being overlooked again. I mean, I said at the beginning, I said it in the middle, but I don't know how Magadansky gets overlooked. I suspect they will start teaming him relatively soon, but I said that probably about 30 minutes ago as well, so I really have no idea. But Magadansky trying to push into Rex territory a little bit. He's got a great army to counter him right now with that Pure Garg army, and most of the Hippogriffs are dead already. The scouting is phenomenally done by Rectify, or by Magadansky to see that fight earlier. Nice job using the Breath of Fire combo there on the Gargs, although he only hit about a quarter of them probably. Would have liked to do that better. Gonna see a Stone Form momentarily, I would guess, from... Nope. Guess he decided to let that one pass by, but Rectify really has to make sure he can get most of his army back and push him out. He is at a 90 food cap and clearly needs a few more Moonwells. I don't see any building at the moment. If that ends up being what screws the game over for him, he's going to be pretty annoyed by that, I think. And Magadansky at this point kind of at a loss to do for what to do sieging. I mean, with the Moonwalls being full at 425, there's almost no way that Rectify is going to lose this fight. Magadansky is coming in with a good food advantage here. Let's see how many units he can take down. Ideally, he'll be able to poke things out until he gets level 6 on the Lich, and then he can use Death and Decay in it, and bam, that was a big hit by the Panda. He needs to use Stone Form on those Gargs momentarily. Come on. Maga, don't lose them like that. Rectify clearly pushing his advantage right now, and oof. Magadansky usually so great at these types of fights, but this one is not going his way at all. Rectify, despite the fact that he's down 81, is causing Magadansky to TP out here. Magadansky is lagging a little bit. Hopefully he won't drop. And there we go. We get our first save of the game to ensure that nothing terrible happens. And Persuade is taking his first mine. He is at 82, so he's not mining it very effectively, but I'm guessing he's going to drop down to 80. Yep, there we go. So he does make that drop to 80. And Rectify is at 80 as well. However, he is not mining at the moment. And we've got Magadansky going back up to 100. Unfortunately, he pretty much needs 100 to fight either Persuade or Rectify at the moment. Although Persuade does not have a very bat-heavy army at the moment, so I think that Magadansky might be able to take him. However, Rectify's army clearly incredibly strong with the heavy influence of the Druids of the Talon and Hippogriffs in it. The silence on Dark Ranger is really being a bit of a ball buster for Magadansky, so he cannot do his normal nuke and run. And obviously Persuade's army is so reliant on casters. If silence goes off on those and then the chimeras take him down early on, that's pretty much the end of the fight already before it's even begun for Persuade. Alright, I've run out of things to constantly say, so I'm going to go ahead and turn our sound effects back on. Hopefully they don't override my voice, but I don't think they will. Since there's not much else going on, we'll go around and take a look at the base and we can decide what we think of them. So Rectify has, looks like 6-7 Ancient wins. In general, I like the way that Rectify's base is shaped out. I would like to see these Moonwells put a little bit closer to his main, I think. Or maybe the main moved out a little bit, just so you don't get trapped in here if you TP in by accident. And also, you could definitely use some more Moonwells. He's one of the players that's always talking about how nobody ever makes enough Moonwells. They're such an incredibly imba unit. And yet he's fallen into his own trap of not building enough here. Persuade's base, nicely set up. I think it's a little too clumped together here. I'd be worried about Death and Decay or Pandarian Brewmaster's Breath of Fire taking that down really quickly. I like the way that he has his bestiary set up, though. I don't like the fact that he only has one Voodoo Lounge as far as I can see. If you're an Orc player, I think you should almost always have two, just so that somebody can't take it down easily. I know as a Night Elf player, my first instinct is to go for that Voodoo Lounge and prevent any more bats from being built. Magadansky's base is... he's got a worm here I don't think he knows about. I don't know, Magadansky's base honestly looks a little bit weak to me. He does have the proxy necropolises there, so he can get... Oh, here we go, big fight going on. Sorry about that. We do have big bad voodoo going on for Persuade. Persuade loses that Shadow Hunter momentarily, but down goes Rectify's Pandarian Brewmaster. Blade Master taking on a lot of these chimps at the same time, not very effectively though. We've got a 65-45 fight right now. There are... Gonna have to TP out there. Too bad though, because these wyverns are carving through the chimeras at the moment. And there was no AA for Rectify. If Persuade can get back up here, or if Magadansky is able to scout him out and get a good fight right now, then Rectify could be in a lot of trouble. Rectify ends up winning that fight, but not by a whole lot. And he does lose that Brewmaster as well, so that could be a huge problem if he has to fight anybody relatively soon. Persuade left with a Blade Master, and he does have both of his heroes still. Or no, he lost his Shadow Hunter. He still has his Torn Chieftain, which did hit 6 during the fight. And Persuade playing a risky game if he comes in here. And there goes that bat. He does get one more chin, but that Blade Master is going to be scouted, and Blade Master very low. Terrible idea to Blade Storm away. Should have gone for another Windwalk. Come on, can that get away? Can it get away? There we go. Gets off the Windwalk. Just barely escapes with that Blade Master. Boy, that was awfully close there. Magadansky very close to Rectify right now. It'll be interesting to see if he manages to get himself scouted out for Rectify. I don't believe he knows he's there. I don't see a shade. Oh, nope, that's Rectify shade. So Magadansky misses a key opportunity to gain a lot of experience there, but just a little bit of off-centered scouting. So Persuade is down to 50 food. If he can get a mine up right now, then that he'll be in good shape. He is going to manage to get himself over the 50 food mark, though, the moment he produces that second peon there. I'm not sure what he has that he could kill off, but he clearly needs to kill off something in order to prevent himself. Maybe kill off a shaman and a troll witch doctor. Don't really want to be mining at 51, though, or 54 once he's done. So they both realize that Magadansky's pretty rich. And Rectify and Persuade are having a bit of a lover's tiff at the moment, it looks like. Magadansky saying he doesn't think he is richer than Rectify. That's nice of you to think, Maga, but... Alright, so Persuade apparently is going to mine at over 50. Interesting choice. And Persuade actually using a little bit of manip. You don't see that too often from him. He's usually a pretty straight shooter about his gold, so when he does lie about his gold, it's even more effective. And Persuade is going right back up to 100. He is producing another bad army, so probably a smart move on his part. If he could have mined at 50 and got away with it, it would have been extremely effective. And here we go. We've got another big fight coming in for Magadansky and Wrecktify. Maga at full 100 army, forcing Wreck to TP in. Let's see if they actually fight. He does get off a stasis ward on that Death Knight, and here comes the big breath of fire. Maga really needs to stone form those gargoyles. He's letting a lot of damage get done to them just because he feels like it. And there's that doctor that they were talking about. Now, they mentioned that they weren't making a Kodo. However, he actually has a war song battle drum, so it wouldn't help him out that much if he charmed it. I mean, he could obviously sell the drums, but it would still help out Persuade quite a bit, because Persuade does not have any battle drums currently on his units. He is down to 500 gold as well. And Maga right back up to 100. And Rectify incorrectly guessing that Persuade is at 50, but understandably so, since that's what I would have assumed he was going to do. Oh, you killed the Felboar, Maga. That wasn't very nice. I was listening to its sound effects. Nice charm. Gets the destroyer out of the way and gets it back into the base, so that's incredibly helpful for Rectify, especially against Magadansky. Not so much now, but later on it will be if he, or sorry, not against Magadansky, against Persuade, and ooh, barely saves that. Nice job by Maga not losing it, but Maga lost 9 food, Rectify lost 10 food. Somewhat even trade, but I'm sure Magadansky would rather not be doing an even trade at this point in time. Does still have that crystal ball in his base as well, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and use one of his healing scrolls, or not scrolls, healing wards. And here we have all our players bickering like little children. So just going around here, Rectify actually is going to grab an expansion. I don't think anybody has scouted out yet. Persuade has his expansion as well, so Magadansky the only one without one at this point. He does have the most gold, and most gold by far at this point, so he's probably not overly worried about it. He has scouted that Persuade has the expansion. At this point, I think he's trying to prevent getting 2v1'd. I think he might go ahead and take that out later on, but he really has no need to take it down now just because of the fact that it would increase the 2v1 much earlier. Should Persuade go ahead and hit him now, I suspect we'll go ahead and see Maga try and take out Persuade, since he is the weakest. And it does look like Rectify may be taking the fight to Magadansky. He is carefully staying at 80 food.
A player's forces are under
He's
attack.
actually down to 4,000 gold. He went through his gold pretty quickly. So they really do need to do a little bit of concerted teaming against Magadansky right now. And also maybe take out some of these proxy necropolises that he still has around the map, since what you always have to worry about with Magadansky is that he's going to rebuild the hidden army and you won't be able to find that last building before he kills you. It's happened time and time again, and I would not be surprised if this came down to that as well. So I presume most of you have been following the Play Free For All tournament today, but for those of you that haven't, this has been a tournament that's been going on for the past 8.5 hours. The first prize here is $325, and then places second through fourth are $65. So there's quite a bit on stake here for all of our players, and it's also been a very trying day for all of them. I mean, they've all played, and this is at least their third game, fourth for some, and as such, they've probably been playing about 5 or 6 hours of free-for-all already, possibly more. I mean, I know I've been casting since about 10 a.m. this morning, and I'm tired, so I can only imagine how fatiguing it would be if you're actually playing in these games. It's kind of everybody's prerogative to just play a little bit smarter, a little bit more cautious. I mean, you don't want to get this far and then end up losing because of some silly mistake that you made while you were trying to be overly aggressive or weren't paying attention, stuff like that. So, as annoying as it is that this game can be slow at different points, it's certainly understandable. And Magadansky can go ahead and make Rectify pay for having this expansion. I don't believe he managed to... Yep, so Rectify got off detonate on pretty much every one of those. So nice job on his part preventing Magadansky from getting any more experience. Believe they're probably pretty worried about this Dreadlord hitting level 6. That's the next big thing. Lich hitting 6 is important, but not until late game probably, when Death and Decay will become a big part of it. Although Magadansky has been pretty unsuccessful at sieging Rectify's base, so Death and Decay would certainly be a welcome relief. I'm guessing Rectify is still looking around for more spell shields at this point. Can never have too many. And nice silence. Rectify unsure if he wants to engage the army, though. And going ahead and picking up a TP. So Magadansky has now gotten his second teleportation, and we will see if Maga decides to engage here. He does have the food advantage, and he could certainly do some nuking hit and run here. That's pretty much what he's famous for against Night Elf. It's incredibly frustrating to play against. He has not pulled it off particularly well this game, but there is always time. Also looks like Persuade is on the move, possibly to go ahead and hit Magadansky as well. So should be an interesting 4 or 5 seconds before everybody starts DPing out again. Magadansky is continuing to just play Ring Around the Rosie with Rectify, and Persuade is just going to go ahead and chill out at one of the expansions there. And here we go. We may actually have to have somebody TP out. It's a big fight. Nice job using the Breath of Fire combo here. Does not look good for Magadansky off the bat here. And there we go. Magadansky gets his own nuke off in retaliation. He has not lost much yet, but he has a lot of low HP units. Get ready for that second Breath of Fire to come in on the guards and do a huge amount of damage there. Dreadlord goes down. And there we go. We get a Stone Form. Death Knight looking really low, and Death Knight has to TP out of here due to both the Dreadlord and the Lich going down. Magadansky loses about 10 food as well, and Rectify loses about 13 food without losing any heroes. So Rectify owned that fight for sure. Magadansky just hit really hard there. I'm not sure what happened or what exactly he's doing, but that was certainly not his best moment of this game. Persuade continues to just kind of plot around here. And says that he had an orc moment where he just wanted to bat both of them. He has completely drained one of his mines. He's going to work on the second one with 8,000 gold now. So Persuade has to be careful that he's not seen mining too much, because it would be very easy for both players to decide that he is actually the biggest threat and to go ahead and attack them. somehow Persuade manages to get under Rectify's skin every game. It's really a talent. I'm not sure how he manages to do it. But as you can see, Rectify clearly annoyed at Persuade here. Maybe because Persuade doesn't really take anything seriously, but as such, I don't think Rectify is actually kidding about going ahead and trying to kill him. I don't think Rectify would ever purposely throw the game away when there's so much at stake here. However, I wouldn't be surprised if it subconsciously influences him. It does look like he is going to go hit Magadansky. Hopefully Persuade does not interfere here, because this is the right move with Magadansky still having 8,000 gold, although pretty soon it'll be time to not focus on Magadansky anymore. The question will be how much damage is done at that point.
The player's forces are under attack.
There we go, gets off the first Haze Breath of Fire combination there, and Magadansky can go ahead and move those out of the way. No stone form still. There we go, we get a Scroll of Healing off. Do not have a Scroll of Armor, surprisingly. And Magadansky waits off, or Rectify waits with his Hippogriffs in reserve, and in they come, doing a bunch of damage here. Nice job kiting those Chimeras out of the way. Looking very low on this Pandarian Brewmaster, though. Down goes the Panda, and in comes Persuade's Blade Master to see if he can leech any experience here. We do get the healing going off from the Keep of the Grove right now. Magadansky at 66, Rectify at 69. Down goes that main. So both players not in good position right now. That Panda being out is really going to hinder him, though. But Rectify appears to have just more AA overall, and Magadansky is losing this fight. And in comes Persuade. He is going to see who he can take advantage of right now. He is going to go ahead and bat pretty much everybody. This may result in him getting teamed later on, though. He has to be able to finish off one of the players or the other. Persuade figuring that he has the best chance of taking it over right now, and let's see who he takes on. Does look like he is teaming Magadansky at the moment. And, ooh, this is going to be... Wow, Rectify has just gone ahead and rage quit. I don't know what the fuck just happened there. He was still in great position. And Magadansky... Wow. That was not the ending I was expecting there. So, Magadansky is pretty much over here. Persuade pretty much hit at the right time, but Magadansky had a ton of gold left. He could have easily made a fight out of that. I have no idea why he decided to do that. And Maga trying to keep up a game fight, making some more...
Player's forces are under attack.
I don't know, that was a very weird combination of stuff going on there. Not much Magadansky can do right now. I mean, he can kite around with his 3 heroes, but he looks like he may die with that 7,000 gold left still. Persuade should be pumping more units right now. Yep, here he goes. We've got a bunch more bats coming in, and that was certainly a unexpected twist. I know I've said that before, but really still trying to figure out what the hell went on there. Maga obviously still a little bit annoyed and wondering what the hell went on as well. Also a bunch of Scroll of Healings over here. I'm not sure why nobody should go ahead and take this, but... And Hex goes off on the Death Knight. Good sleep on the Blade Master. Wake it back up momentarily, though. Death Knight does still have a TP, and there are a few Necropolises running around the map. Right now, Persuade needs to go into Magadansky's base and finish that off, because he still has a bunch of production buildings. He is still pumping as much as he can. He is food capped at 40, though. So, main goal for Persuade right now is to make sure he gets away, takes out these crypts. Maga is able to get at least one Frostworm away.
A player's forces are under attack.
So I don't know, weirder things have happened, but it does look like it's going to be a pretty easy cleanup win. We do have a bunch of different summons here. We've got 2 Ice Revenants and an Inferno, so if that Dreadlord can get level 6, that would be another Inferno he could use. But he is losing the ability to make any more gold very quickly. His heroes are way lower than Persuade's. Bats are coming in, just taking out everything that they possibly can right now. And that Dreadlord is going to go down. So that's the game, folks, and boy, that was a very interesting game, to say the least. I thought Persuade had blown it early on. I thought Maga had a free coaster ride, and then Rectify decided to pull some random shit out here. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty nicely played match overall, but I feel like it was a little bit... I don't know, I felt like it was a little anticlimactic at the end. But that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that's all I can say. Almost literally, because my voice is pretty much dead. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I got to say, I really appreciate everybody that has been listening. You guys have been fantastic today. It's been a day-long event. It's been draining. It's been exhausting. However, it really has been a great time. A huge thank you to Ugrelanian for putting this all together. We couldn't have done it without him. Literally, he pretty much spent 100 hours or so on this, putting it all together. It's been a fantastic experience, and that's all. So yeah, thanks everybody. This has been Mage. Make sure to subscribe to Twitch. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can click that below, and make sure to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/freeforallmasters. Season 18 is accepting applications for one more week. That's at freeforallmasters.net, and that's all I got. Peace out, guys.